Nuts. Maybe I should have checked. Okay, hang on. I need to check that. Career
Had a good time.
dashboard. I'm unprepared today. Right. This is number 16. Okay, okay. We'll edit the description. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Byzantian Brewscast. Sorry about the weird false start, but yeah, we're back for another week. It's the penultimate week before UK Games Expo, I think. Yes.
Yes, it is. Um, I'm looking forward to that.
Ye-
Been saving up reimbursed travel money from charity events for the date. I'm not spending
Hmm.
too much money. It, it's a con. There's always a risk. Oh yeah. Um, how the week's been?
Um, my week's been okay. It's been sort of a bit all over the place. I've been at a few events over the weekend, so my head is in an odd space, basically. I'm quite tired because
Okay.
I was out yesterday at a friend's place. It was affected their sort of not quite birthday sort of get together. So yeah, I was there till like past midnight. So I am tired.
Oh, okay. Been like kind of. Were they celebrating a pre-birthday or?
Yeah. So their birthday's in like a week's time, but they're like working that day. So it's like best
Oh,
best
right.
best have the birthday get together now rather than later when they can't because they're working.
Okay. Anywhere decent?
No, it was just at their place. We got some pizzas in from a place called I think it was Domo, which is like not Domino's, but actually really nice pizza. So,
If you have pizza, you have Domino's at home.
but it was good. It's like
Domo.
it's a lot less greasy than Domino's. It's like
Okay.
we played some Mario Kart, watched some Batman Beyond, played a couple board games actually. Surprisingly enough, we
That's
played something called
appropriate.
Splendor. We played Splendor, which is like a
Oh,
resource type game, and we played. Oh, what was it? Not this. What was it called? What was the name of it? It was about building public buildings, and then the first person to build all the landmarks wins. And I can't remember the name of the game. It'll come to me eventually. But yeah, that was good. I haven't played board games in a while. As you probably know, I don't necessarily have an aversion to board games. I just until I'm actually getting into playing a board game, I'm like, oh, I don't think know if I want to do that. But then once I start playing, I actually enjoy it.
yeah,
It's always the way.
like the one April picked. Just found that one time a geek.
Hmm.
Just had to build the tallest structures that didn't fall over.
Oh yeah, just so we. There was something about like we had to get like points for apartments and stuff. We were like, what
Yes.
if we built something really tall for no reason?
Yeah, but so I just yeah, but the best part, one person lived there.
Yeah, yeah. One person lived at the
So
top.
imagine the equivalent of a five-story flat with one person in it at the very top.
Yeah, it's like the ultimate penthouse suite experience, except your like penthouse is built on top of this like 90% scaffolding structure. It's like I
Well,
don't get it.
if they did reward points for height, they wouldn't have done it. Um, but
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So, how has your week been?
oh, it's been good. A fundraising weekend.
Hmm.
Uh, obviously yesterday was Birmingham Pride.
Yeah, I, I
Um,
I saw you on the float. That
uh,
was that was awesome.
yes, yeah, Hetty was down for that. Trying to smile away with every direction at once, which
Mm.
is quite hard when you got like big bowling ball on your neck. Um,
Yeah.
you can't get around to everyone because especially on the down New Street and stuff,
Mm.
because everyone's there. You know,
Yeah.
I did see Waldo though, so you might have to hide better at the con. Uh,
Mm. It was quite funny actually because several of the other like floats like there's Wally and a few people actually like because obviously people on the floats were throwing things
I
and
was
like
gonna ask
souvenir
about
stuff.
that.
So people were like throwing things and souvenir
Yeah,
stuff, and because I was dressed as Wally, people were always throwing stuff at me like, "Here, have these Skittles, have this lanyard, have this, have that." Like, oh, okay then.
did you? How much free stuff did you manage to get?
So I got a big packet of Skittles, the smoothie ones.
Oh, nice.
I got
Oh,
several small flags. One person literally
okay.
put a sticker on me because it's like, "Ha, found you." Um, I got one of those IKEA bears. And what else was
Oh
there?
yeah. Okay.
Obviously a Birmingham hospice tiny piece of rock. And what else
Well,
was there?
they're not legit rocks. They weren't stoning
No,
probably gay people.
like the
Like
seaside
literal rock
rock kind of
candy.
thing. Yeah, the rock candy.
A rock candy.
Um,
Um,
a Chupa
what you
Chups
meant to say?
sour thing. Some love hearts.
Oh yeah.
What else was there? Oh yeah, one of the Pop World
So,
things. It's like a almost like a pool noodle, but you press the button and it flashes, and there's different settings.
oh, another one. Yeah, yeah.
Got one of them.
Yeah.
That
So
was funny.
you did quite well then.
Yeah.
Given that you were standing there for a bit. Uh, fair enough. No, it was definitely something I would do again because it's so funny being on the float.
Hmm. It was weird
Although I
actually.
wasn't warned about how. Yeah,
From a sorry to interrupt. From a watching perspective, there were like several times I had motion sickness watching the vehicles go past, like because I'm stood still there
really.
moving, like oh motions. Am I also moving? I can't tell. Ugh.
That is, that's that's interesting. Um, what surprised me was how sharply that those floats can break,
Mm.
which it turns out is not sharp enough to knock you over, but it's a bit you have to watch your step.
Yeah.
Which is great, but it's like just before the bridge near New Street Station.
Mm.
Um, that stop was a bit the little violent. Then it gets really awkward because it's really fun when the float's going.
Mm.
Because then that's when smiling away would make the most sense. But then you get like occasionally people all in the mood for pride and stuff. They're all sometimes they get another they all like briefly follow the float for a bit.
Yeah.
Then when it stops, they just sort of like you sort of wonder how long they're going to stick there to until the parade keeps moving again.
Mm.
So they got a little awkward. Especially when like I don't know, I guess there's a hold up with the bigger floats or something up ahead. So I think there were some people around for like 5 minutes that just sort of followed briefly. They were I guess they were there for the music
Ah.
from one of the floats because there were three floats blaring music and they were different songs.
Yeah, that gets a bit weird at times, and it's like, okay, I can hear like two different pieces of music going on at the same time. There's tonal weirdness in my
Yes.
ears.
I wouldn't be opposed to a an official Pride playlist if I was going to do that again.
Hmm.
I'm not sure how you wouldn't be able to enforce that, but it would help.
Yeah, if everyone was like playing the same piece of music, or at least playing, they've. I mean, like the first guy, I think it was one of the first floats, was that particular radio show. If they were all just tuned into
Oh,
the
yeah. No,
same
right.
radio program, that would have worked.
Yeah, there was two. The portable dub was pretty good, to be fair. They weren't that bad.
Hmm.
I know we had our own on the hospice float.
Ye-
And then the one behind us, the fire service had one as well.
Yeah.
That was anyway, definitely experience. Would do
Hmm.
it again. The only problem was I was under strict orders to keep the head on the entire time.
Yeah.
After we started moving anyway. So that was about one close to 2 hours
Oh.
straight. It was got a little warm.
Hmm. I can imagine.
And it was a lot more chill, just a couple of hours helping the guide dogs out
Hey.
and some shopping centre.
Hmm.
They were adorable because they are dogs. But one of the really young ones on today. Actually got a name's called Ringo. Probably have to yep, probably have to Ringo Star, no doubt. Can't think of any of the famous Ringos to the top of my head.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm a dog pull. I'm a dog pull. I'm a dog pull.
do not send me any more treats after the 25th of October. They will be eaten. That's I mean that's the most Ringo Starr thing ever. Just if you haven't seen it, weird video. Ringo Starr, a few years old now, saying, "Don't send fan mail because it won't get signed to be thrown in the bin
It's
because it
brilliant.
will be tossed."
Will be tossed.
That, he opens it by warning them with peace and love, which I kind of love.
Mm.
I don't think I've ever been warned that way before. So long weekend.
Yeah.
I'm glad I've nothing to do on a bank holiday Monday.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. The other thing I was doing
Still,
is well, I did the order, so I finished my cards thing, deadline things done. Stuff should be arriving on the next Tuesday, or my new stock, which is a
oh
lot
yeah,
quicker than I was expecting it to be. Even though I took it express delivery, but it said, oh, on Friday it said, oh, it'll arrive between three and no, it will arrive between 5 and 7 business days. It's looking like it's going to arrive in like 2 business days. Like, okay, sure.
okay. So only that going to the expo.
Yes, I will be bringing my new stuff, my new artwork stuff to the expo because why not?
May as well. I think there's a Q&A on that, but yeah, I think it's legally interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're talking to Mitch actually just Friday night about it because he's also going as well for the day,
Hmm.
and they're still trying to figure out the mystery of can we bring bags in or not.
Yeah. Uh, as far as I could tell, it should be fine for because of the various reasons we discussed on Thursday. Like there
Yeah,
doesn't seem to be anything on their website about it, and it would be weird if there was a problem.
yeah. So at this point, what I'm thinking of doing is because if Mitch is offering a lift
Hmm.
and I'm going with him anyway, might as well put the bits I'm not wearing in the just in the car.
Yeah.
Just go with the rest from there. Saves me bringing the bag in.
Yeah.
Just bring one of the just bring one of the like the I've got a couple of cheap um string ones from volunteering expos and stuff. Just bring one of those in.
Yeah.
If I do pick up a few things, can bung it in there.
Mm.
We'll need somewhere to put my allocated con money in there as well.
Mm.
Ideally, I'm going in the travelling light because I won't exactly have pockets for the most part. That's fine.
Oh.
To be fair, it's kind of. I think your costume is kind of great because
Yeah.
you might get more attention than I will, which is quite funny. Is you know because everyone will be saying if they found you all day apparently, which is isn't
Oh.
the worst thing.
Right.
Oh, should be a good day. Yes.
Yeah.
Moving swiftly on.
Yeah, do we have a tabletop book for the week?
I do. This one came from Leeds. Just fish it out.
Oh.
So this is an expansion to my other ones.
Hmm.
Definitely off the beaten track. From some expansion to a game called Lex Arcana. It's basically
Yeah.
um role playing game where Rome never fell and magic turned out to be real. So
Oh.
that's cool.
Ooh.
The setting's kind of weird because they wrote all the stats actually in Italian,
Yeah.
but that's for thematic reasons, not because they're being weird to non-Italian speakers.
Uh-huh.
So I have to translate it mentally a lot, which is a bit weird. The
Hmm.
game itself is kind of fun though.
Hmm.
It's sort of like a little like Starfinder, and that the player characters are the agents of the state that just go to basically do like independent contracts in the
Uh-huh.
various parts of the empire, which are still around.
Hmm.
This expansion is Dacia and Thracia. So it's like but so basically the borders of the empire, where but basically as far as the setting sees it, um, everything Roman is great. Everything druidy and weird and not quite Roman, they're not so sure about.
Mm-mm.
So this is the border. So we like the border of the empire, where you get a lot of druidic magic.
Yeah.
Um, a lot more what they would call barbarians. So the book's quite good because unlike they have like an inbuilt quest in it as well, which is really nice.
Hmm.
You get a lot of background, which this setting kind of needs you to know because it's very Roman like that.
Yeah.
Books for adventures that aren't in the book. Um, New stuff, new weapons, some new artifacts and encounters, and new monsters. Um, it's really cool. So it's basically a fun idea of like what if the Roman Empire never fell and magic and monsters were actually real? Um, but the Romans hold a dim view of that because anything that they have a really barbarian look at it, D&D style. If it's weird, if it's not Roman, they're not liking it.
Yeah.
There's a lot more social rules as well that D&D probably doesn't have. If you're speaking to someone of a certain like rank socially, they expect you to be a certain way.
It's like you got to use certain
You meet
honorifics and things like that.
oh yeah, yeah. If you're meeting like a consul or someone in the Senate, you best watch what you say because they actually have power and they are probably scheming at some point.
Yeah.
Um, so I suppose in that way, it's a bit like the Legend of the Five Rings, where your social standing does matter.
Mm.
Weird system. I'd love to tangle with it a lot more. But then I have to constantly translate everything. Um, the biggest sell in it is just the setting itself because it goes really hard on the idea. Like every single um, type of NPC, where possible, has a Latin name that would have fitted at the time.
Yeah.
There's, I wouldn't say it's high magic fantasy either. It's definitely low fantasy. Like there's mythical animals and stuff, but it's but they're sort of just walking alongside of regular horses and stuff. Um, so the magical stuff really sticks out like a sore thumb, but that's kind of the good thing that makes it a weird. Like there's also implied that a lot of these like mythical things like sphinxes are in there, griffins
Hmm.
are in there, all the classical Greco-Roman ones, but they're not like common. So the appearance of one is still seen as a weird thing.
Hmm.
I think it's a really good balance from someone that really knew what they were on about with the setting,
Yeah.
which which I can really appreciate. The game itself works. It's mostly a D8 or D10 system, so it's
That's
doing a lot of things
interesting.
differently. But yeah, I do like it. I mean, but it doesn't use a D20 system. Sort of like Conan. There's a Conan. The Barbarian system does that quite
Hmm.
well as well. There's a D12 for that. But I really like it because it's the main book is here, there, and everywhere. But this is like um, a proper expansion on like the slightly spooky druidic Germanic borders of the empire, where all like the everyone starts to get a bit sketchy, and the empire starts to not trust anybody at the border at all.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, so many ways you are playing what you could call the antagonist of the setting. You're just trying to stamp your will on everything, and there's the tribes of Dacian, which is no, actually we're still here if you don't mind,
Yeah, like
but
don't.
because they worship different gods and have these weird pagan ideas, it kind of spooks them back in the capital.
Mm.
So, you got anything this week?
Surprisingly enough, yes, it's not a new thing, but I've
Hey.
remembered that I have an old Beckett magazine from way back. This is like the early Yu-Gi-Oh
Oh,
period.
amazing!
So I did a video on this a long time ago, but this has the Obelisk, the Tormentor cover. So it's like the issue where like God cards were first being a thing.
Honestly,
So there's
new
things,
new
yeah.
cards.
So yeah, this is like when they were new. So they got things like an advertisement for a Yu-Gi-Oh belly washers thing, right? With like a weird 3D
Belly
model of
water.
Yugi's butt, like like head, shoulders upwards kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
Okay, sure. We've got an
I
old
just I
advert
never.
for Magic the Gathering, like really old. This is like
Yeah,
I guess like at mid early Mirrodin period.
right.
And then of course it's got
It's
things like yeah, talking about how like oh Obelisk's card powers are so enormous. It's got 4,000 attack for those defense, but he's not
oh
allowed in
wow.
tournaments and things like that. But you can play them in your deck if you want to. Um, things like events from so this is 2003. So talk about Wizard World
Oh,
Texas in like
nice.
2003, 2004. Uh, we've got sort of their top 10 list, including Morphing Jar, Red Eyes Black Metal Dragon.
There's a bit you have to like design a deck based on the 2003 spec
Yeah.
according to that one magazine.
Here's a funny thing, right? Here's a funny thing. So they've got
Okay.
an Akira reference here for Beckett, like Beckett's website,
Oh,
with Yugi riding the Akira
okay.
bike. Bearing in mind, Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds isn't for another like 6 years after the printing of
Oh,
this magazine. They
okay.
predicted 5Ds by accident.
Well, that's fun.
Um. Okay, where is it? Okay, here's a funny thing. Okay. During this time period, okay, guess the price of a first edition Blue Eyes from Legend of Blue Eyes.
Oh, right. Okay. Just for the one card.
Just for the one card.
Okay. Now the average is now 47p.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say £3 for no particular reason.
Bearing in mind in this set, it's the chase card of the set.
Hey, 15.
So it was $50 at the time. Nowadays, for a first
Dang.
edition like Blue Eyes the original, you're looking at like several £100.
Oh, it's
Hundreds.
funny you mentioned that because I still, in conditions a bit whatever,
Hmm.
I do have it. Hmm.
um,
Good to know that.
back in the day, Gate Guardian like was $100. Nowadays, like nowhere near that.
Wow,
Um,
that's crazy.
yeah. In fact, I think like Gate Guard is like the most expensive card on this list of this like company's singles game price listing. $100 for a card that even back then you couldn't really play. People like so
Well,
hype about, oh, this
but
card's super
didn't they
strong.
just have a whole article about Obelisk and Torment and how you can't use it yet, though?
Yeah, true, yeah.
It's kind of because normally you'll have no problem selling cards you can't use.
Oh dear, they've actually got a deck list for an obelisk deck.
Mm. Oh,
So Goblin
but
Attack Force, Gemini Elf, Gravekeeper Spy, Marauding Captain, Spear Cretin, Fiber Jar and Cyber Jar, both of which are actually banned still to this day. They're both banned. Uh, Witch of the Black Forest and Sinister Serpent got banned for a long time and then had an errata. Half of the cards is like, yeah,
right.
that's still banned, that's banned, that's been errata, that's banned, that's banned, that's banned.
How much of it's playable?
I'd say
How much of
about
it's playable,
a bit
really?
about 50% of it.
Well, brilliant.
It's like 50% of this deck is banned.
That's
Genius.
good.
Oh, I love
Right,
it.
so I'm gonna have to ask because I have no idea. What is a belly scrubber?
It's some sort of body
You meant
wash brand or something. Kind of like the Captain
okay.
ones they used to do way back. Things like that.
Uh, I just thought it was a bizarre American product for scrubbing specifically bellies with Yugi's head attached somehow. And
Oh,
I don't know don't know why that would be a thing, but
mm,
weird things have been sold.
yeah. What else is in here? So there's a set list for the Magician's Force, which would have been the upcoming set of the time. It wouldn't have been quite released
Oh,
yet. Oh, does it make you feel old? Because it makes me feel old.
I don't know. My understanding of Yu-Gi-Oh sort of like card game sort of ended after original generation,
Hmm.
maybe early GX.
Oh my
I just like
days.
constantly get.
What is this? Hang
Yeah.
on. What is this? Master Duelist Challenge. Oh, so people are making character
Huh?
decks, and there's like a whole fucking transcript of how the game went in
Oh, I have
character.
battle reports. So
It's a
good. That's
battle report in
amazing.
character.
Oh, I love it. I bet these people loved that era of VR chat when everyone was
Oh yeah.
making Yu-Gi-Oh stuff.
It's hilarious because it's Grandpa versus Pegasus for some reason.
Hey,
I play Needleworm. Oh, okay then.
I, I I think that's worth a
You
transcript
know what the
or
funniest
dramatic
part is?
recreation.
You know what the
Uh,
funniest part is? Grandpa won.
Amazing. I, I can see why, because I don't. Who really remembers? I don't remember Grandpa's deck at all. And to be fair, Pegasus, the original Toon World stuff was not that great.
Yeah. There's also a
You
list
have to.
of Yu-Gi-Oh idioms here,
Oh my God.
which no one
One,
uses anymore. And my favorite is according to Grandpa, which I don't think anyone
I
ever
have to bring these.
used.
I think I have to bring these back. I don't know how I'm going to
Cannon
do it.
dust, chop suey,
It's random idioms.
jump the gun.
Okay, that's not a Yu-Gi-Oh one. That's just
Now, apparently,
anything.
jump the gun in this instance specifically refers to illegally summon level 5 plus monsters without a tribute.
Oh, so that's what it's. That's what everyone's been using it for.
Yeah. Monster
See,
Reborn
on one hand,
restriction.
uh, what?
My favorite
There's
one
a game,
here is multitude
right?
cards, which it says, oh, some
What?
people called them staple cards, but multitude cards is what we call them in Japan. No, everyone calls them staples. Everyone calls them staples. No
They're
one
multitude
calls them
cards.
multitude
Maybe that one
cards.
guy.
No one is calling them that.
I, was this an official magazine or was it like a fan one?
This is it's Beckett, which was like technically sort of a very basically one of the biggest magazines at the time for like Yu-Gi-Oh and trading card stuff.
Oh, right.
So basically
Right.
borderline of as
Okay.
close to official as you could really get without getting Shonen Jump itself.
Okay. I get the vibe that half of this was really well put together,
The other
and
half
the
is
other
like, oh,
half, like they sort of run out of ideas.
W is great. Weak as Mokuba. Beginners of the trading card game. Imagine rolling up to
Okay,
tournament,
right.
someone saying,
So
"Wow, you're like Mokuba, huh?"
you're that's a W. You're a weak.
Weak as Mokuba.
So whenever you see YouTube comments talking for people about people posting their W's, they mean weak as Mokubas, obviously. Uh,
Oh, hang on.
that's how that goes.
Turns out I was wrong. It actually talks about belly washers here. It's a juice drink. Belly washers juice.
Juice. Oh, I
What?
don't want that.
Dual
I have more
delight grape
questions now.
flavor with a 3D character top.
I have so many more questions about this
Oh,
product
oh,
now.
it gets better. It gets better. Millennium shaped
Oh
cereal.
no.
Real cereal.
That one at least is edible.
It's just weird.
Okay, I have to look this up. I'm gonna look this up. To just, I believe it's in there. I just have to see it for myself. Um, the belly what? Okay, it came up on Google search. Oh my God. Who named a drink belly washer, and why would do you think that's a good idea?
Who knows?
That's just not a good idea. Oh, it's okay. So belly washer is like the drink brand.
Yeah.
Um, and but it's a Yu-Gi-Oh theme one, so it's got all the branding of Yu-Gi-Oh with like just Yugi's head on top as the lid.
Yeah, it's really kind of weird.
Oh, oh, there were loads of these. I'm just gonna post this in chat.
Oh
Someone's
no.
collected these apparently.
Oh no.
It's great.
Talking of
I'm gonna drop
weird
this in the chat.
Yu-Gi-Oh collectibles, it's not in this magazine because it's obviously very recent. But have you seen the new McDonald's collab?
They have the Hello Kitty Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah, it's really
That's
weird.
that wasn't on my predictions.
It's not on my bingo card for this year.
And they put the smash two popular things together.
Yeah.
I guess.
Okay. Right, well, that was that magazine anyway. That was my tabletop book club
Uh,
of the week. Somewhere I've got a
what?
2004, 2005 catalog, unofficial one of like Yu-Gi-Oh card prices of that time
Oh,
period with like every set and everything. I used to
oh, if you want to do something, okay, I'm sorry.
No, I was finishing my thought. There we go.
Uh, If you want to see something depressing, I could always dust off my 2006 Games Workshop catalog.
A Whoa, these belly what the
Well,
heck? It's a lot of belly washers.
there's a lot of.
Is that like
When
what
you
that
say, but I
Homer
thought it was
does
like.
not look right.
Let's have a look. Yeah, some of them are a bit. No, the head shape's slightly wrong. And the Shrek one's putting me off.
Oh, it's because some of them have
The
like
face.
straws. They're technically straw, like the pop up. I don't want to drink through
Yes.
the Grinch's head.
I just don't want to drink something called a belly washer. It
So
sounds like it's something that goes near someone's belly, which is I don't want that. And also the implication like it does something weird to your stomach does it's not good.
yeah, it's like a what do you call it? A colon cleanse, except it's got like Johnny
Yeah.
Bravo on it.
Medicinal.
So strange.
I now know about this is of belly washers, and my life will
Yeah.
never be the same. Um,
Apologise to everyone
but
who
that,
now
that
has to be tainted with the knowledge. Hello, Terry. How's it going? Oh, thirsty goose. Yes, I'll have some of my tea. Right.
if you ever get merged, only two belly washers for just one time run.
We get sponsored by
Thinking
belly
about
washers of all things.
why, yeah.
Don't think I...
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. I
Right.
love old magazines.
Critical fumble. Let's move swiftly on from belly washers, shall we?
Which is clearly a great idea to a bad idea. Um, yeah, I've got one this month.
hmm
Just find this week. What about? Um, last time I heard. There was this Games Workshop again.
Oh.
They're doing very well lately.
Oh dear.
So, right, so long story short, they did the rumor mill did an update.
Yep.
Um, and they did it in a really passive aggressive way
hmm
that had some very like loaded activist language in it, which people were like,
Right.
I'm not sure I like that. Get a little weird. And then they retracted it and acted like they didn't publish the first one.
Ah.
It got try and find the I'm gonna try and find the exact shot of it because it's really weird. Um, let's have a look. Yeah, so and sure, Games Workshop was really handling their new diversity inspired stuff really well.
Hmm.
As in, not at all winding people up for clout, and then people go, "Fine, I won't buy your stuff," and then they go, "Actually, I didn't mean it like that, I guess,"
Yeah.
but they do mean it like that. And the ending affiliation with like big YouTubers who do a lot of Warhammer content because they don't like the new direction, which is always a good take. You know,
Hmm.
who doesn't like free press? Um, no, Arch Warhammer's like one of the big one for that.
Hmm.
You say he's an older school fan, sure, but he's really into the books and lore.
Hmm.
So he's documenting a lot of their stuff until recently. it's got to the point where um people who associate with him are being um sort of, at least for social media purposes, being blacklisted by Games Workshop just because they're around the guy or worked with him for any number of reasons.
That's hmm,
It's getting a bit communisty at this point. I'm a bit worried.
yeah.
Um, you might even like the guy, but if you were like worked with him once at any point, for some people that's a red flag. Even though his content's usually quite good as well.
Hmm.
If you have the time, like Critical Role amounts of time, he did a very good series of videos on the Siege of Brax, which is a big siege in the Warhammer lore, which is honestly really interesting. And he goes through it. There's like an hour long a bit. There's like 40. Last time I checked, there were like 40 odd episodes, and I know there were more after that. So he is thorough. Um, but no, but apparently because he doesn't like the new direction, he's got to cut all contact. Apparently, for some reason.
Oof.
I mean, only if you believe everything Games Workshop comes up with, which you probably shouldn't. You know,
Well, you know.
yes, just follow your corporate overlords. Um, so yeah, Games Workshop keeps putting their foot in it. Um, not what's new there. Um, so, you got anyone this time round?
So I've been looking, and I haven't seen it. Wizards of the Coast, surprisingly enough, haven't been doing anything completely stupid lately. Um,
Well, that's nice.
yeah, there's stuff that some of the stuff coming out of the Modern Horizons 3 set in terms of magic is fine. I haven't looked at their new D&D stuff because, well, it's not 5th edition strictly, so I kind of don't care. I'll be honest
I
about
heard
that.
that was a bit of a. I heard that was a bit of a crapshoot as well.
Yeah. Um, but I guess my critical fumble for the week is myself because I keep forgetting to update my
Oh,
OBS studio. I keep every time the past sort of
oh,
month when we're doing podcasts, I'm like, okay, remind me later, remind me later. Oh, beans! I need to as soon as we're done here, I need to update it.
okay. Um, right. So what? Right. I'm not that good in OBS. What definitely needs an update.
Just my just the thing that I'm using to stream, basically the program that I'm using to stream and balance audio and stuff like that, and the stream screen that Twitch is currently looking at.
Okay.
Yeah, I just keep forgetting to do it.
Fair enough.
It's a small thing, but it's like, oh,
It always
I should probably get on that before before stuff stops working for whatever reason.
there's always something.
Yeah.
I mean to get onto on that now. I'm not on a MacBook anymore. I'd love to actually get into streaming properly. Um, don't know what I'd do. I'd probably just do like a really chill uh Barnacle mask pack opening stream for a bit
Hmm.
and run that. That's all right.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Honestly, having never brought the mask packs, it did feel kind of therapeutic.
Hmm.
The only thing missing from that game really is the ability to um like freehand track which ones you've already got, which ones you don't.
Yeah.
Again, for a free thing, I'm hardly going to complain.
True.
Moving swiftly on.
Right.
What
Yes.
we got rolled up next?
Do we want to talk about the Talasanta game
Yes, I
in
finally
lieu
got
of
around
our
to
normal
playing
skirmish report?
session zero of. Yeah, we can do that. If we finally got into starting a Talislanta campaign, which is
Yeah.
the fifth edition conversion for it anyway. It's talked about already. One favorite settings. Everything's tribal and low to zero magic, which certainly made balancing combat difficult, interesting,
Hmm.
especially when I started rolling well as the DM, which always happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first expendable combat was almost down someone. It was, and I wasn't targeting anyone. I don't think it was anyway. I wasn't targeting anyone on purpose.
Hmm.
I just kept rolling high with one particular player who kept rolling terribly.
It was a lot of
And
fun.
yeah, um, oh, I'm glad that that's the main bit. I was just so worried though when they got that first combat. I started rolling high on damage
Yeah, it's like,
on level one characters
crap.
in a setting where no one, you don't get cure wounds
Hmm.
or a healing word or anything like that. That's not an option. You just have this potions, but normally you have to make them,
Yeah.
and it's like doing a ritual spell. It takes a lot, a long. It's like you have to take ayahuasca to make the damn things.
Hmm.
Um, which I like thematically, but balancing the game challenging. Saying that is good to is good because I've never run it and you've never really played it,
Yeah.
so it's a good way for me to try and put in the parts of the game that may or may not be important later, and just info about the setting without
Hmm.
doing a lore dump.
Yeah.
So you were literally discovering it for the first time, which was a lot of fun. Um, Not to
Pe-
mention, I did something I've always been meaning to do in a D&D game of anything.
uh-huh.
So, long story short, the party begins the game being pursued by slavers. There's a whole tribe. This tribe in particular very good at slaving. Um, so they're going through this old half submerged gatehouse to try and lose them and evade pursuit. And they obviously they managed to do that, sneak through an old a tunnel that's been formed through water erosion, and they snuck past a camp of undermen, and they're like troglodyte people, completely bald, hunchbacked, look a little like corpses, very cool,
Hmm.
very classically evil. So you avoided that and all contact with them. Um, but then to make it ill interesting, right at the end, I thought, why don't I just ask if they want to, just for a little minute, take the role of one of the other NPC
Hmm.
groups because they're still being pursued the entire time. So could have done it as like a one quick roll and just decided, which, how that fight went. But what if I just have that be a thing? Um, and you chose to actually, either the whole party chose to play as the undermen that had the little campfire set up because they pretty much live exclusively in caves.
Hmm.
Nothing too fancy for like level one. It was just like a couple of mooks with uh, literal bone swords because that's surprisingly like common things like flint and onyx and stuff.
Yeah. Flint,
And
onyx, and stone.
one very yeah, there is iron swords there, but it's like you're equally likely to find non-metal weapons,
Hmm.
which is just quite a flavorful thing. Um, and one guy who may go down in infamy if he, depending on how the sessions go, all I did was give him a halberd and a trait to make him better at hunting beasts. He was kind of flimsy, like all of them, to be honest.
Yeah.
But he ended up like being the last survivor. Um, so he's going to probably come back.
Yeah, his
Um,
rolls were
not sure how.
absurd. He critted twice in one encounter.
Yeah. The things that are meant to be pursuing you the whole time because of you know player involvement ends up getting killed by some tribesmen in a cave and a couple of lizards.
Yeah.
Just left this one guy left with no tribe members left, but I might just see what I can judge up for him because I quite like the idea of just
Hmm.
this, this weirdly competent underman who's going to become a recurring character.
A recurring problem, and I love him.
In this part, you haven't even met the characters, so you'll have no beef with them. It will just be a new threat, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was something I was wanting to do because it's like some D&D games, the party avoids the thing entirely.
Hmm.
I love the thought of sometimes if there's time in a session, having the players take the role of NPCs for like for like an encounter
Hmm.
that will actually affect the world later. So I got to Oh, that paid off.
Especially when it
Um,
happened as organically as it did in that session.
yeah, I didn't say you're doing it. I made sure to ask.
Mm.
So, any luck? No, no RPG horror story about that. Although at this point, I'd be kind of like weirdly honored if I was mentioned on there.
Mm.
Like, oh, I was worth mentioning. That's nice. Um, yeah, honestly, really, really fun game. The setting is what I thought it would be.
Mm.
I am having to seed in reasons to get some form of healing items or potions.
Mm.
So if you're going to run the fifth edition conversion for Atlanta, put in plants that can be used to make potions because it's the best way to get healing.
Mm.
Realistically, without any form of magic.
It's actually kind of interesting how much more important potions become in a setting with basically no magical healing.
Yeah, it's an interesting balancing act because the normal encounter limit doesn't really work with Teleslanta very well.
Hmm.
One bad combat can pretty much leave one character on death's door. And some of the potions as well, that some of the potions, there's a chance of getting addiction to it.
Oh.
Like, that is a thing. Yeah, you become weirdly addicted to potions. And the withdrawal, if I roll it as it's written, um, there are consequences for having withdrawals.
Oh.
Yes, I'm not. Well, we'll see if I incorporate that in. But it's a really fun way to do it, and it's my way of dipping my toe into older school RPGs
Hmm.
that don't have without the clunky rule sets that they have sometimes.
Yeah. It's a lot more streamlined is the good thing compared to sort of vanilla
Oh yeah, yeah.
5e.
There's less worry about like too many class abilities
Hmm.
because the main thing about it is um obviously no spell casting that saves time. Um, but instead of picking a class, you can play with classes if you really want, but there's a restriction on that for obvious setting reasons.
Yeah.
If you do it by the book, it's you all have 1d10 hit points at start. That's just your hit dice. Um, your background is really important because it's basically what tribe you're from. It gives you all your equipment in the background,
Hmm.
and some of the tribes it gives you ability like racial traits or a skill or a trait that's basically just for your tribe affiliation.
Hmm.
Which is kind of, so the background does a whole lot more of the legwork, but I kind of one of my main problems with basic 5e is the background is kind of an afterthought.
Yeah.
I don't mind that it is as important. Yeah, I think it's really neat. I think it's a little underrated, and I can see why some people wouldn't get into it. I do feel I have to mention that one of the things that they've changed the way value works because they don't because coinage isn't really a thing in the tribal setting.
Hmm.
It's by trade value. There is a this is depending on certain tables, you might not want to run it as is written. But there is a table for slave value. That is a thing just baked into the game.
Hmm.
Um, and most of the player races are in there as well as average slave value if they're from that race or tribe.
Hmm.
There's certain tables I could see some people going to Twitter and complaining. Um, so I would check that bit. But you have to know your table for that.
Yeah.
Apart from that, though, it's a really non-contentious game, and I'm a big fan of it. And it's always an optional rule as well. You don't have to, just DM properly and do it for your table, and it should be absolutely fine.
Hmm.
Just remember the balancing is kind of wonky. If you don't have enough healing items,
Yeah.
I would
Don't be
say as well
surprised
having
if your players try to avoid combat. because combat
Oh
is
God,
can
yeah,
be
yeah,
brutal.
absolutely. Oh yeah, yeah. The stuff that I homebrewed the stuff for level one, but the stuff that's actually in there is often way above level one pay grade. It probably would have that would have killed you easy.
Hmm.
Um, there is stuff in that monster manual. There's at least two things in there that it's a con save or die. No save, just save or die.
Yeah.
So it does get a little brutal. So I did homebrew stuff so I wouldn't be killing you immediately. I am
Mm.
looking forward to doing a session because I do have something planned that will tie you into the wider world where you can pick a direction for where you want to take the rest of the game.
Mm.
This would just sort of like a here's the rules work, here's how it plays, and I do want to end up giving you control over where you want to go, and then I can plan ahead the rest of the session from there.
Mm.
So I guess the open world is in reason, but I will, you know, modify every quest and stuff to what
Yeah,
you're choosing.
that makes sense.
So I guess it's half on rails. As in, the rails are you said you wanted to go this way. You know, I can't go full open world because I had to homebrew enough just to get that just session zero done. Imagine doing it for like if for some reason you all wanted different things all the time, and it'd be like, how do I run that?
Mm. Right. Well, thank you for that, and thank you for running the game. It was a lot
Yes,
of. It was very fun. Explorers Guild. Then,
fantastic.
where are we headed this week for our random look at various planes, areas, planes of existence, universes, and cafes?
Are we counting that? Or would cover be a domain,
I guess.
or to just
Yeah.
tell you a domain could be anything. So I could invite you to my home and call it my domain. That'd be technically correct.
That's technically correct.
Very
Yes.
weird, but I could do it. You could do it, yes. Um, I do have one. Yes. So, um, right. I'm just found you. There we are. So, so this is the expansion to Ghost Archipelago. So it's basically the setting is it's like a sister game to Frostgrave,
Hmm.
but rather than wizards and their paid mercenaries trying to find magical stuff and treasures and all that.
Hmm.
It is heritors and various pirate crews and stuff that they've managed to bring with them. But a heritor is basically someone who was at least descended to someone who basically went to the Ghost Archipelago, which only appears every few hundred years,
Yep.
and drank from a magic. Basically, it's an enchanted spring of water. It grants them bizarre powers. Basically, it's magic water. It gives you powers.
Okay.
The heritors have weaker versions of said powers, which they can use to rather than like having mana pool, it is blood burn. So these abilities do actually in-game hurt to use, but they are pretty powerful to make it worth your spend. Um, Honestly, really cool idea. This mansion's great because all the books imply and talk about the various tribes that live there, and this book really goes hard on that
Hmm.
because they have a whole table to generate randomized tribes or a handful you can use already. Like it's quite a good game. But some of the game modes the scenarios you can play, they flat out require an unofficial third player or like an NPC faction, which is effectively a tribe.
Yeah.
The battle takes place on territory that you've disturbed,
Oh.
or they're acting as tribal guides or something.
Hmm.
It's really and that really incorporates it well, and it's not of all the books that our games I've seen actually handle like tribal creation and all that. This one kind of does it with like it's handled in a way that it suggests they've actually done their research on tribes
Hmm.
and how they might function. It's not that like the risk sometimes you run into with writing tribes is I think this is more of a modern publisher problem, but they're so quick to make some sort of statement to not appear racist, or something like that.
Mm.
That they write the tribes as all peace loving, all nature loving, effectively hippies, which is good for PR, but it's not really accurate to how tribes historically work.
Yeah.
Even in fantasy settings, it feels weird if every tribe is strangely peaceful and hitting the bum of every spirit that goes by.
Mm.
Um, this game does it a whole lot better by just having you can randomize it or you can choose basically a series of traits,
Interesting.
um, both positive and negative. They can be like really like some of them are based on like real world stuff. Like there's pygmies are a thing in this. Basically, every member of the tribe is weirdly small compared to most of the humanoids on the island,
Uh-huh.
which is some of them have no skin, which you can roll that or choose it if you want for some reason. Some of the tribes have no access to spell casting at all, or a fear of water, better at fighting undead.
Mm. Ooh.
Uh, some of them are peaceful. So there is a bit of everything here. There's a lot of like immune to poison or amphibious or like, there's some classic fandoms like there's some like death worshippers as a trait they can end up having. Um, what's it called? Yeah, what is there? Or herb addiction, low pain threshold. Um, it's really well thought out. So if you can theoretically have any sort of tribe with this system and it kind of works. Um, and I love any tabletop game where there's a third NPC faction on the board, especially when especially an objective based game like Frostgrave, where the goal is get treasure, or in this case of this book, it's um, get a clue on the location of this spring of water that everyone's after. So there's a lot of context to it that makes it more than just a get points and win game.
Mm.
That and it's a miniature agnostic as well. It is
Always
Osprey,
good.
and you can go for any of theirs. You go for any of theirs, and they do some good miniatures for a lot of different things. But if you for some reason wanted to have like I've been tempted to look into getting a small group of miniatures together for it because I love their Snake Man miniatures. I'll
Mm.
get a photo of them. They're quite cool. And normally that wouldn't be a tribe, but the game was like, there's no reason you couldn't just say there's a tribe of snake people
Yeah.
because they're, they're really good at saying, yeah, you don't have to buy our miniatures outside of this. So here's a guide if you want to have a weirdo tribe of, I don't know, even elf miniatures it technically works with. Like, why wouldn't there be a load of weird pointy-eared people on a mystical island? It just makes sense.
That's
Um,
yeah.
yeah, really good book. I've read it. It's a small book, read it multiple times just to really get a feel for it. And it has got me interested in getting um into Frostgrave because it's a really high little system. I think it's on par with Warhammer,
Mm.
uh, at easily a fraction of the cost, which especially nowadays is something that's needed in the hobby. I mean, they're not no profit, but I think make a prediction on tabletop games. The new trend is going to be what can you get for your money.
Yeah.
There's a lot of I can see Games Workshop losing a bit of its monopoly to a lot of indie games
Mm.
because they're getting more and more competition now, and not just from uh, no ones like me at the moment and indies. They're getting it from former developers of Games Workshop games.
Yeah.
So I can see that being a big driver of new talent to the hobby. which I kind of support because honestly, games of Warhammer, while great, they take a day and an age to actually play.
Hmm.
Right. Got any more unhorsed dwarves or something for this one?
uh, no, actually.
Okay.
But uh, ugh, I don't have much by way of stuff this week. However, between this and fantasy film, I'd like
Yeah.
to talk more about Fallout. So, because
Oh yeah.
the new series is out, and I've watched the
Yes.
first
I've heard very
episode,
good things.
and can I
Yeah.
just say, like, you don't realize it when you're playing the games, but when you watch the sort of scene in the series, you realize just how terrifying it is to watch like nuclear bombs go off. It doesn't really register until like, oh, okay, this is happening now. You get immersed in like the life of these random sort of people having a party, and all of a sudden,
Oh yeah. Yeah. And then they presumably get atomized, and that's their life.
yeah, it's like that's fuck, you know. But it goes more in detail into things that aren't necessarily spoken in the games because it doesn't really go into that
Yeah.
in depth because it's a video game. Things like how Vault life is and things like that, like and like the life of an average farmer who's like struggling to get water and things like that. Because like that hasn't really like the water economy doesn't really get hasn't really been spoken of in Fallout since the first game with
Yeah, because
sort of the
most of
first
it's
settlements.
definitely irradiated.
Yeah, so like water's really
Oh,
important and
and and there's the soil. You're not growing on that.
yeah, so it's like the setting is like yeah, this makes you realize just how actually really interesting the setting of Fallout is, even though it's like you might say, oh, it's just alt history or alt future history, you know.
Yeah.
There's things like, okay, potatoes are a thing. They taste shit, but they grow in even horribly irradiated, so they're extremely hardy plants. And then just the
Yeah.
little
So
the logistics and the minutia of how things have survived, and this is why.
that was when I was writing Byzantia at the very start. That was one of the hardest things to deal with, and I had to decide: do I go with? I did eventually decide on the more Hollywood version of
Mm,
radiation, but honestly, for ease, because um, writing logistics for the post-apocalypse is really hard
yeah.
because you either end up with stuff like the Fallout games, or you end up with something like Stalker or Metro,
Hmm.
which is generally what you see. So you
Yeah.
either end up with life is kind of bad, but we do have some science fictiony way out of it, which I did find slightly easier, or Metro, where things just begin to feel like they're not going to get better, and these characters are waiting to die.
Yeah. She's very. It has its
Um,
place, but it's very, very, very bleak.
it's not the kind of thing I was looking to write,
Mm,
so I do give him credit for actually thinking of that because I did think of that in part, but I couldn't commit to it all the way because I did want the game to be fun.
yeah.
And as try as I might, the actual apocalypse won't be very fun.
Hmm.
I have yet to see it though. I've heard a lot of good things.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah,
I'm gonna
I,
make it my homework for the week coming ahead.
yeah.
So by the time that we do Byzantian Brewscast live, I will be able to give you my review and final thoughts on it.
I was thought that'd be fun because I've never no. We'll think about the logistics later. How are we gonna do? How are we gonna portable that in?
Oh, that's a great question. I haven't really thought about it yet.
That'll
I
be what we
think I
think
can
about it.
make I think I can Twitch stream off the phone. It just means that we won't really
Okay.
have much of a visual because I don't have my OBS settings on me on my phone.
Um, okay. Oh, I suppose we can all.
I guess though we could have the
Do you know what we
camera
need to
on
do?
so we can talk on and have the camera, which would be really funny seeing
Yeah.
your usual host dressed up as Wally and then Evie.
You hear my muffled voice through the felt. Yeah, sounds great.
Oh, you might have to take that.
Um,
Yeah, yeah. Didn't
yeah,
think
we'll
of
be
it.
doing that. I'll be doing that. Do you know what we could do? Um, we could. You should probably get a media presence for the podcast
Hmm.
while we're here.
It's a good idea.
If we're streaming it, we could say, "Hey, we did a thing. Look at the thing."
Yeah,
Um,
that'd be
that,
cool.
that and any stupid photos would we could definitely we'll be getting plenty of stupid photos on Saturday. We can do that.
Yes. Stupid photos time.
Do love taking daft photos. Um, well, speaking daft photos, I don't know if did I send I did I think I did send it to I'll send it again.
Hmm.
I got a good Hetty one on Saturday.
Hey.
There it is. My with my very amateur fan work.
Hmm.
Um, put that in the chat as well. That's funny. Yeah. What's up next?
So our final thing is our rulings time machine. Do we have any dumb or bad or whatever rulings that we need to fix this week from any setting?
Um,
Or
yes,
oh, cool,
yeah.
cool, good, good,
Or
good. Yes.
what's
Oh,
the or?
the alternative is we could talk about music for a bit with our occasional segment. Sounds like gaming.
Okay, so checked. I do have one. I was it on a while. I'll
Ayo.
put a link to it. There is a playlist for this, and
Hmm.
it's great. Um, so this is the soundtrack. So short concept. There are a lot of video game and film soundtracks that don't really get mentioned. Sometimes because the game itself or the film itself not that good,
Mm.
but the soundtrack is kind of good. Um, and this one I've picked of it's so back when Jurassic Park had was absolutely enormous and everyone had to go see it. They did a PS1 game that's really solid. Um,
Hmm.
It's weirdly enough, it's composed by a guy that did none of the movies.
Okay.
So he just did this. He's done other work, but for Jurassic Park, he just did this one game.
Yeah.
Um, just want to try and find his name. Um, and it's surprising because it's a really good soundtrack and it feels like it would be at home in any of the movies. Um, which is kind of a shame because I think because he's clearly a decent composer. Maybe there's some business. Let's have a look. Soundtrack Michael Giacchiano.
Oh, interesting.
Um, apparently described as a young. This is Wikipedia, mind,
Yeah.
so grain of salt. But apparently Spielberg, who called him a young John Williams.
Okay,
Uh,
that's some high praise.
that's high praise indeed. Oh, okay, no, so he didn't do any Jurassic Park, but after he did Medal of Honor games after that for a bit.
Hmm.
So yeah, I will say that it is quite a traditional soundtrack, and
Hmm.
that's a lot of orchestral bits.
Which
Um,
is not necessarily a
because
bad
it's
thing.
video game, yeah, because with video games as well, it's like some of it is literally menu music, very
Yeah.
good menu music, but it's menu music. Just to send a link to the just put Jurassic Park OST. It's 34 tracks long. It's very good. Um, so long and short of the game is rather than play a single character, there's like four sets of levels.
Hmm.
Um, five sets of levels. Sorry, you play as the Compsognathus, Velociraptor, Tyrannosaurus Rex, and one of the hunters that was sent in the island in the movies, and it was Sarah, who is just down as human survivor, I guess, for this one.
Yeah.
So you get different types of gameplay in this game. It's a 2D game, so 3D isometric scroller. So it isn't 3D, but it's on a 2D plane. So it's
Yeah.
quite fun. Let's have a look. There's one track on here that's really good. It's on the very first level, which I've heard a million times because surprisingly hard game as it turns out. One of those games that was like Jurassic Park, probably with kids in mind, but it's a PS1, so it's really hard.
Hmm.
Um, I'll just send a link to it now because it's really solid. Um, honestly, it's one of those games that um my god sister has it. I don't know if she still has it now, but she definitely had it, and I played it that game a lot. And of all the Jurassic Park media that people do know exists, people seem to sort of like not know about this particular one for some reason.
Yeah.
I just think the soundtrack doesn't get enough love. Um, very traditional orchestra though, so it's kind of it's not doing anything weird with electronics or anything.
Hmm.
But if you want like a big adventurous soundtrack, I think it's kind of great. Just think it's kind of sad that the guy didn't do any more Jurassic Park stuff. I mean, he did work. We did Medal of Honor in its prime, so he didn't have a bad run.
Hmm.
But I think he would have done great work for future Jurassic Park stuff had that happened.
Yeah.
Is there any soundtracks from movies or games that you like that's either lost to history or just not particularly well loved?
Um, so in terms of like Lost History or not well loved particularly, I actually really, really like it's not a very big OST, but the OST
Yeah.
from Hot Wheels Stunt Track Challenge. Because
Oh, okay.
there's some themes in that, because there's like five different things. There's like some of the they didn't have to go hard on music for a effectively a mini game based racing game, but some of the themes in that go
Right.
really, really hard.
Right. So so Hot Wheels Stunt Track Driver?
Stunt Track Challenge. Stunt
Oh,
Driver is
Challenge.
a
Right.
different
Sorry.
one. Yeah.
Um.
Um. Particularly, I think the
Right. Let's have a look.
volcano levels race music.
I'm gonna have a quick listen. Carry on, Wallem. Let's have a look.
I think it was the volcano
Okay.
one. Um.
Is this unrelated to the one? No, it's different. The one at NQ64.
Uh.
When it was the late 80s one, that was funny.
I think that might have been Micro Machines.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's Lava
Ooh.
Land. Yeah, Lava Land's race theme is pretty cool.
Okay, I can can't.
Put it on low.
That's pretty good.
It's when it gets into it that it's like,
Okay.
oh, okay. It just kind of got that like synth waveness to it, with a cool bass.
It's
It's
it's like a 90s dance club track.
yeah, it's kind of like got a bit of techno in there. It's like okay, okay, I'm digging it. It's a little weird, but I dig it because I feel like it's
Feels
like
more
they
Need for
could have
Speed than Hot Wheels.
yeah, they could have absolutely just kind of done some phoned in rock tracks for everything. They're like, no, no, we're gonna do some different genres of music. It's like,
Ooh,
I dig it.
that's a weird one.
But there's a few tracks in that like that. I think the space, the final area, which I think is in space or whatever, which was pretty cool.
Okay.
It's their space one. I forget. Zero Gravity
Oh,
Zone.
I like. Okay. Quite like that. There's theming in the music.
Yeah.
That's nice. But
The
it's all techno-y, a little bit techno.
there's the pirate one. I don't think was techno. Yes, there was a Pirate Land. Buccaneer Bay.
There was like a car. I never thought of this. How many
Yeah.
racing games didn't have a pirate land?
Hmm.
So I played Lego Racers 1 and 2. They
Yeah.
definitely had a pirate land. Mario Kart, yeah, got that. Is it? I can't think of many racing games that don't have some sort of like at least um big IP uh, games that don't have some sort of pirate land.
Yeah.
Like outside, if it's not street racing, they usually have one.
Let me check because I think there's one that comes to mind that might not have had a pirate land. I forget. Um. Oh no, this one. Oh no, this one definitely has a pirate world. Never mind. Oh, it's an unlockable one though. Uh. Okay,
Oh,
wasn't the one I was thinking, but yeah. I was thinking RC Revenge Pro doesn't have one, but they do. It's just that it's weird that they have a like a weird cartoon world, a jungle world, a kaiju world, space world, and
okay.
horror
Kaiju World
world.
is perfectly normal.
It's like, okay.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, uh, Stunt Track Challenge is just one of those that has a fairly weirdly non-generic OST for a relatively generic game.
And with Hot Wheels though, how many Hot Wheels games do you make before it becomes difficult to make driving a car fast seem distinct?
Yeah, I feel like that's why there's been like
I mean,
such a
out,
gap since the mid
yeah,
2000s where THQ started making them to beat that, and then there was just nothing until Unleashed. Because like, other than the
yeah,
Flash games for kids, it's like yeah, it's kind of been done.
yeah. It must be racing game must be hard to make because it's like cars go fast,
Hmm.
they drift sometimes. Apart from the one that got at Geek's actually pretty funny. That's because it's all like stupid player custom maps.
Yeah, yeah, that's Unleashed too, which is just haha funny.
Oh God. What was that? That gravity map we found that took us 40 minutes.
Yeah, because like just what if we added as many zero gravity zones as possible?
There's some people making those levels that think Hot Wheels should be a platformer for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Last time you put it on, there was that track that required you to do ramp boosts constantly. You're like clearing huge distances just to get to the next checkpoint.
Oh yeah, that was borderline
You,
painful.
you can't miss the checkpoint either because it times you out and sets you back to the last checkpoint.
Yeah.
I was there 15 minutes on this one jump. It was horrible.
Please let me go. I want
But
to
you don't have
leave.
no, you got to jump across you got to jump across this entire diner floor from one of the first tables.
Uh,
Yeah. Right. So
right.
what's up next?
Closing thoughts then, I suppose. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Yeah, thanks for showing up. Loads of thoughts. We have got to check to get some logistics down for Saturday
Yes.
because I would love to show you lovely folks the UK Games Expo. Um, because if you have any American watchers or listeners, they
Mm,
probably won't be able to just casually rock up to it.
yeah.
And B, I don't go to cons very often, so
Mm,
it will be fresh for everyone, which will be quite nice. That and you get to see some of the daft stuff we do in the name of just a bit being having a bit of fun. Which I think would be nice. I would like to get to know. I would like to get to know some of the chat. To be fair,
yeah.
um, I know how Vine Source chat and Doug, their chats can get a little odd, but
Mm,
having been in said chats, it's easy to do when someone starts a meme.
mm,
Um, I like to think we might be able to like if we do amazing on this podcast for like years somehow. I don't know, maybe we could end up we could have a spin like
we could
thing,
have our
which would be
own
nice.
Speengate, a
We could have
watershed moment.
yeah, but it has to be organic though. You can't be like forcing it.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
needs to be like something stupid you say out of context, then somehow maybe it becomes weirdly it's rocking up in chat. Um,
Mm.
that's like a stupid internet pipe dream that I do quite like though.
Yeah.
Um, that would be good to actually live stream something. Because I do I have in the past taken the piss out of people that do it because often it's like that like the kick streamers, those kind of people.
Hmm.
So it would be funny to be actually doing it, and not causing crimes would be good. We can do that at the expo easy enough.
Yes.
It'd be good to have the show on the other foot, I think.
Hmm. So,
And
oh,
if
yep, go ahead.
yeah, so carry on. Sorry,
No, it's fine. It's
just
fine.
gonna say, and if final thought, if anyone is familiar with No Rolls Barred, um, they will be about on the date. I would like to have a quick hello with them
Hmm.
because funny people. I mean, they are from London, for whatever that's worth. But they're funny people. Love their channel. They do daft board game stuff like Communopoly, which is Communist Monopoly, or Snakes and Ladders without snakes, without the ladders, which we have played.
It's
Um,
chaotic, that's for sure.
yes, and inspired me to make Chaos Edition Monopoly actually, which hopefully getting a playtest in July.
Hmm. Super Chaos Edition.
That's the sequel.
That's the sequel.
We'll roll for which edition we're playing every turn as well on that.
The Ravage Edition.
Yep.
Right. Anyway,
Any,
all.
any final thoughts?
No. We're just gonna raid out now. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will hopefully see some of you at UK Games Expo. Stay goosed and stay awesome.
Oh yeah, yeah. If you are coming down, do say hi.
Yeah.
We don't bite unless it's a Thursday.
Unless it's a Thursday.
Yeah.
Right. See you all soon, but folks. Bye bye. There's the raid.
See you
There's the
soon.
raid
Bye.
message. Bye.